Please teach me the six-yang technique. Pan Zhong dropped to his knees and kowtowed. Before Lu Zhou could answer him, Lu Yuan already said impatiently, "How dare you trouble my master with such a trifle matter? Ah! Find that lousy technique by yourself in the library within the West Pavilion," Little Yuaner said. Pan Zhong looked embarrassed. He wondered if they truly treated such an important cultivation technique so casually. Lu Zhou did not deny it and just waved his hand. Ji Tiandao had seized too many cultivation techniques from the orthodox sects in this world. There was no way he could keep them all with him. After Pan Zhong left, he pondered over how to bring Zhao Yu back. From what he had learned so far, he guessed that she was most likely forced to become a holy daughter, and that she would become a victim of the grand ceremony. So what should he do next? Right then, Mingshi Yin walked into Evil Sky Pavilion and saw Lu Zhou wearing an indifferent face, as if he were deep in thoughts. "Master, I have something to report." "What is it?" "The traitor Si Wuya sends Master a letter." Mingshi Yin respectfully held out a letter with both hands. Old Seventh? Since he deserted Golden Court Mountain, he never interacted with Evil Sky Pavilion. Why is he so bold now? He's a traitor after all. Lu Zhou thought to himself as he took the letter and briefly glanced at it. What a coincidence. It happened that the letter was about Zhao Yu as well. "Master, what does the letter say?" Lu Yuaner asked impatiently. After reading it, Lu Zhou raised his hand and let the letter fall onto the table. Then he furrowed his brow. Mingshi Yin carefully picked up the letter and looked at it. As he read, he looked surprised, and then he frowned as well. Old Seventh has no motive to send us false news, he analyzed. "Master, if the news is true, I fear that junior sister Zhao Yu will not be able to escape her fate." Lu Zhou glanced at Mingshi Yin indifferently and said, "What do you think we should do?" Although Mingshi Yin's thought process was outlandish, he would occasionally come out with some good ideas. He thought for a moment and said, "When shepherds quarrel, the wolf has a winning game. Since they want to reconcile, we will sow discord among them. This is an easy job because they are always at dagger drawn." When he had finished, Mingshi Yin bowed and said, "Master, you don't have to do this yourself. It is only a trifle matter. I'm willing to do the hard work, and I promise I'll bring junior sister Zhao Yu back. I'm sure Master will let me go out this time," he thought as he bowed his head, waiting for his master's approval. Lu Zhou waved his hand and said, "You will be reflecting on yourself for 3 days in the Cave of Reflection. Ding, you have disciplined Mingshi Yin and are rewarded with 100 merit points." Mingshi Yin was a little confused. He did not understand why he was punished. He had done everything he was told to do in recent days, and he did it dedicatedly. He had defended the mountain, fought the enemies, and even flattered his master. He thought he had performed excellently. However, he did not dare disobey his master's order. So he bowed and said, "I deserve to be punished." After that, he turned and started toward the Cave of Reflection like an obedient child. Why did Lu Zhou punish him? It was because he saw Mingshi Yin's loyalty fluctuate. The fluctuation was not great, and his loyalty still maintained at around 70. However, as long as it was not above 80, there was a chance that he would betray him. Little Yuana looked puzzled, so she picked up the letter and read it. After reading it, she scratched her head as if she did not understand the contents and said, "This is not a trap?" Fifth senior sister was forced because some people want to vent their anger. Lu Zhou did not answer her, but said coolly, "Come with me to the holy altar." When she heard that they were going out, Lu Yuaner blinked her big eyes excitedly and said, Master, are we really going out? What's there to be excited about?" Lu Zhou walked outside and looked at the sky. It was already midday, and the weather was good. They should be able to reach Yu Province before sunset. He needed to arrive in the city of Runan in advance to make some preparations. Without a peak form experience card, he would have to use his brains if he wished to bring back Zhao Yu. He glanced at little Yuaner's clothes, which was an attire she wore to gather information at the station. Thankfully, it was not too attractive. "Master, do we need to tell senior brothers?" Lu Yuaner asked. "No need. It was pointless to tell them. Golden Court Mountain would be safe under the protection of the shield, and the few disciples he left behind were clever enough to protect themselves. Suddenly, he thought of his new mount Bayan and decided that it was time to see it. He had gotten to know Witzard pretty well, but he had not tried Bayan yet, so he waved his hand. Soon, a strange power appeared in the bright blue sky. Witzard. Little Yuana looked suspiciously at the sky. As soon as she sensed the power, she knew it was a legendary mount. In this wide world, there were many unknown places that humans could not explore. These places were infested with terrible creatures, but very few of them could be captured and used as mounts. Before very long, a mighty-looking figure flew over. It appeared like a tiger and was emanating a menacing aura. Roar! Little Yuana took a step back in fear. Standing beside Zhou, she muttered, "Why? Why does Witzard look different now?" Witzard was somewhat similar to an antelope, while Bayan looked more like a tiger. One was gentle and the other fierce. She was not wrong. The mount landed and crouched, putting away its fierce look. It was showing its loyalty to its master. Zhou was a little surprised as well. This Bayan was clearly an aggressive creature. He wondered how strong it was and what level of cultivators it could rival. "Let's go," he gestured. Little Yuana approached with tiny and slow steps as she said, "Master, can I not ride it? It looks scary." "Not as scary as you. Don't be afraid." Zhou walked over. Sure enough, the mount lowered its body so much that its stomach touched the ground. At the sight of that, little Yuana summoned her courage and approached it while giving it a good look. Roar! Suddenly, Bayan let out a deep, powerful roar. However, instead of stepping back with fear, little Yuana jumped on its back. "Master, it scares me." Zhou casually waved his hand. At the gesture, Bayan leaped into the sky and disappeared into the distant horizon in the blink of an eye. To Zhou's surprise, Bayan was as fast as Witzard. However, the difference between them was stark. Bayan was fierce and aggressive, but not as clever as humans. As for how strong it was, it remained to be tested. Witzard, on the other hand, was calm and peaceful, and it was comfortable to fly with it. It was unknown at the moment what other abilities the antelope-like mount had. Half a day later, Bayan slowly descended somewhere near the city of Runin. When she saw no one around them, little Yuana chuckled and said, "I know what Master wants. We need to avoid drawing attention." Zhou nodded and said, "Runin is not far away from Divine Capital, where cultivators in the world gather, including almighty experts. We need to stay low." "I understand, Master." Little Yuana blinked her big eyes and said, "Master, are we going to Divine Capital after this?" Zhou knocked her head and stroked his beard. "No." "Oh." After entering the city, little Yuana could hardly contain her excited mood. Fortunately, Zhou had repeatedly told her to not resort to force, so nothing bad happened along the way. "Grandpa, there's an inn up ahead. Shall we find a room to stay?" "All right." Just as they came to the inn's door, a group of cultivators flew past in the sky. Common people in the streets all looked up and let out shocked cries. Zhou looked up as well and saw cultivators clad all in black, surrounding a huge flying chariot. "That's a flying chariot of an evil sect. Look, the banner belongs to Fiend Temple. Don't worry, disputes of the cultivation world will not affect common people. When can I become a mighty cultivator and own a flying chariot like this?" Little Yuana listened to the chatter around them disapprovingly and muttered, "What's the big deal? My grandpa has a goat as his mount." A middle-aged man next to them heard that and said amusingly, "Little girl, is your goat strong enough to carry you?" "Humph. It can not only carry me, but also fly out a great yen in just half a day." Little Yuana said, "You go on with your boasting. You don't believe me?" Little Yuana frowned. The man said casually, "Do you think I will believe you, little girl?" "I think you will." As she said that, she flexed her wrists and cracked her fingers. The streets calmed down after the chariot flew past in the sky. Right now, Zhou was a little puzzled. He did not expect that a mighty figure like this would come to Runin as well. Could Fiend Temple be holding a grudge against him because of what happened with Shin-chan? Judging from a number of cultivators and the size of the chariot, The person inside should be at least a nascent divinity tribulation expert. Who would that be, if not the chief of Fiend Temple? Well, it's pointless to think about that now, Lu Zhou thought to himself. Then he turned around and called out, Yuan, coming, Grandpa. Little Yuan ran over while flexing her fists. Grandpa, let me help you. She ran directly into the inn and said to the innkeeper, Hey, give me the best room you have. The innkeeper said politely, I'm sorry, my respected guest. The inn is full, as the grand ceremony of the holy altar is about to be held. We have had too many guests recently. I hope you can forgive me. You have no more room? Little Yuaner scratched her head doubtfully. I'm sorry. You may want to find accommodation elsewhere. Fine. Little Yuana was about to turn and leave when a faint gust of energy blew into the inn, spreading out into all directions before retreating. It all happened in a flash. The innkeeper, Little Yuaner, and Lu Zhou, who just came into the inn, looked toward the source. A man with 2 exquisite swords in his arms walked inside with a solemn look on his face. At the sight of him, the innkeeper said excitedly, A divine court cultivator. My lord? The man's eyes were slightly closed, and there was a noble pride on his calm face. In a soft voice, he said, Innkeeper, I will stay here. Welcome, my lord. It's my honor to serve you. I have only 2 heaven-grade rooms now. I hope my lord doesn't mind. The innkeeper's voice was so loud that it could be heard even outside the inn. The man said faintly, I want 2 of your best rooms. No problem, the innkeeper said excitedly. Right then, 2 servants ran over with a fawning look on their faces. Little Yuaner's nostrils flared when she heard that. Old thing, didn't you just say your inn is full? Why are there still rooms for him? Don't be rude. This is a cultivator who has opened 8 meridians and stepped into the divine court realm. Naturally, other guests have to give way to him. If it were another time, little Yuana would have had a fit. However, they were at Runin now, and her master had repeatedly told her to not cause trouble. Why do you need 2 rooms? You're alone, she pointed at the man. Little girl, you... The man raised a hand and stopped the innkeeper. Then he said in a voice that was not fast or slow, calm and soft, Let me answer your question. I have the ashes of my deceased companion in my baggage. Although he died in battle, I'm deeply inspired by his unyielding spirit. He still lives in my heart, so he should be treated as a living person. My sword has fought with me for many years and killed countless foes. It should have its own room. However, as I never part with my sword, 2 rooms are enough for now. Lu Zhou looked calm, but he did not know in his heart whether to cry or laugh. He could not believe there was such a neurotic person in this world. However, to his surprise, he saw little Yuaner touch her chin thoughtfully. Then she nodded approvingly and said, I agree that you do need 2 rooms. Please forgive me, my respected guest. When the innkeeper saw that the divine court expert was not angry, his manner became much friendlier and more polite. Hold on, Lu Zhou said suddenly. That gave the man and the innkeeper a pause, and they both turned to look at him, who appeared to be just a weak old man they could easily push to the ground. What is it, old mister? The innkeeper asked. I want a heaven-grade room. But... Lu Zhou waved a hand and said, Yuaner. As soon as his voice rang out, little Yuaner understood his gesture. A wave of energy exploded out of her in the next instant and wheeled about them. Then the energy, which was supposed to return to her, suddenly spread out in all directions like a ripple. Everything in the inn, the tables, chairs, and even those at the upper floors shook at the same time. If the energy wave were slightly stronger, then it might have been brought down to the ground. Divine court? The innkeeper trembled and his heart raced. There seemed to be a little too many mighty figures visiting his inn today, the innkeeper thought. For a moment, he did not know what to say, and he only felt like crying for offending an expert. The man's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. My brother respected experts when he was alive, and he aspired to become a nascent divinity tribulation cultivator, he said in a calm voice. I respect what he respects. I will share 1 room with my brother. Innkeeper, give the other room to this old mister. The innkeeper was overjoyed when he heard that. Very good, very good. Then he hurriedly ordered the servants to tidy up the rooms on the upper floor. However, Zhou shook his head and said, "It is not enough." "What?" "I want 2 rooms.